Okay, hi everybody. My name is Pearson Brown. This is Tyler Crick and Sasha Graham, and we're going to be talking about the question that we got, which is how successful are Canadians in collaborating with foreign inventors to develop new inventions? And based on the analysis that we did, we found the answer is not great and getting worse, unfortunately. As you can see, that we were generally okay with it in the early 90s, but having Canadians on a team of inventors has actually been a liability in the early 2000s and remains not great. So we got this conclusion from the data that we were given by the CD Howe Canadian Patent Database. The data runs from 1990 to 2008, and it includes over 2 million inventors who worked on about 800,000 patents, about a third of which were ultimately successful, which we'd find as being issued. The data came from all across the world. The countries that are darker red contributed more to the database, and also all across Canada, the darker red again being indicating a greater number of patents filed in that postal code. And as you can see from this, the patents tended to be focused in areas that were more heavily populated, with Alberta being a major exception to that rule, bucking the trend, especially in rural areas, which for reasons we saw in the last presentation might be important. But this is something that we see in other regions as well. Waterloo, and specifically the postal code we're in right now, was responsible for more patent filings than any other postal code in the country, despite being right next door to Toronto, considerably larger in population, but not quite as impactful for these. And for to break down the reasons why this is interesting and how we used a network approach to analyze the patent database, I'll turn it over to my colleague Sasha.
Now, we're network analysts and we're looking at collaboration, so perhaps unsurprisingly, we thought to look at a collaboration network. A lot of the theory in network analysis and innovation and collaboration suggests that people who bridge different communities can draw on resources from multiple locations that other people can't. These brokerage positions convey some sort of advantage in their results. And when working on projects, the ability to concentrate and mobilize local resources efficiently and quickly is fundamental to producing a good product quickly. So here's an example, just a small subsection of our incredibly large network focusing on an inventor named Wang Tao, who has a very high, what we call betweenness centrality. This is a person who can bridge different communities very easily. You can see they are connected to many different size communities that are working in different areas. And this inventor's success rate is almost double the average that the rest of the network contains. Yeah. There are very quick and dirty findings. Individuals that bridge communities are more successful in their patents over their career, and patents that concentrate the resources of the inventors that are working on it are more successful.
Okay, so here we have the very large network broken down into smaller communities and then broken down by communities of communities. And you can see the three largest nodes. I've clearly grouped together what seem to be, I don't know, like, what do we call it? Factions, yeah. And they're all working in very similar areas based on their patent filing categories. So we see like very strong competition. So we found that communities with high success rates filed for patent for electronics and medical equipment primarily. So we see success rates around 90% for some of the top ones, while we see older, kind of more established industries having a lot less success. Maybe due to, I mean, hard to say.
There aren't too many ways to reinvent the cycle.
Yeah. And also we see this probably because of things like Silicon Valley, and we have these tech incubator hubs like Communitech, Waterloo's own Velocity program, bringing in, the accelerator program as well, bringing people together, fostering communities that are both physical, social, and professional. So we recommend that people build on this model that these tech industries are doing so well and try to infuse some of the lagging behind industries with these kinds of ways of bringing people to innovate. So one way you can do this is facilitate programs that promote these personal connections, employ people whose job is to be a broker, and you can do this through co-op programs.
And that's it. We're out of time. Thank you.
Excellent.